We have a 26-year-old car which looks amazing, but there are some minor flaws here and there. Hi, welcome back to CarsAddiction.com. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ryan and we share car-related content every Wednesday and Sunday. Wednesday is a short snippet of any car encounter we come across, and Sunday is a full-fledged video of a car I own, a project I'm doing, or anything else car-related. Now, last week we gave you a really in-depth tour about this very Skyline R33 GT-R, and we mentioned all the features and the cool stuff it has, but we didn't mention the downsides about this car. Now, this car is 26 years old now, and although for its age it is in awesome condition, there is still minor things to do around the car which we'll highlight in this video. The main purpose of this video is so you get to know what to expect when you buy an old car. So let's get started and start with the interior. Okay, as soon as we open the door, we are faced with this. This is just a sticker, so that is not a big issue. Actually, it saved us from a lot of scratches or anything like that from people getting in the back or the seat belt getting caught in this place. So a heat gun and just replace that sticker, that's not a big issue. So that is point number one. Apart from that, there's like a little scratch here, but nothing that big on here, which is usually a lot of scratched up. Now, the conditions of the seat and the scuff plate and everything do actually match up with the mileage of the car. So I can't complain that, oh look, we just have 84,000 exact. So I can't complain on that aspect that much. Now, things that didn't show on the photos while I was buying the car is, and you won't be able to see maybe unless I point them out, is these holes over here on the column cover. Now, at some point of time, this car had gauges or something like that. Apparently, all Skylines of this age had some kind of gauges. I don't think you can find one that didn't have. Thankfully, the previous owner did small screws into the replaceable components and not onto the dashboard itself, because our dashboard is very clean. Another point we have is right up here, so we need to replace this. Now, that won't be an issue, but like this part over here costs $150. I still have to find the part number for this, but most probably it'll be discontinued together with this A-pillar. So parts are discontinued and used ones might be in worse condition, and they are depending a premium on price, which is the downside about this kind of icon car. Apart from that, another issue I have is literally the radio was held in by glue. They came into this hot climate of Malta and just was in all the place. It is missing the brackets. We do have to order those brackets to get it properly in place. And we had an issue with wiring where it didn't power the power antenna, which is a big thing for me because the power antenna is controlled over here. And I do like to see my car being driven around like a remote control car, which I think is cool. And the wiring for the fronts and rears were mixed up, and now we don't have any front speaker, so we'll have to look into that. Apart from that, I cannot complain about the interior at all. That is the interior. We do have an issue as well where the key matches the ignition, the doors, but does not match the rear trunk. So we are going to, instead of just replacing the barrel, we're just going to go to a locksmith and get the pins redone, so we have one key for all instead of having two separate keys. So that is getting done. So here is the trunk. Obviously the carpet needs cleaning. We are missing that carpet trim. Now apparently that carpet trim is part of all that piece right on the right, which is discontinued as well, so I have to hunt around the internet to find that place, which is not simple. The battery is located all the way behind here, and we unfortunately had to replace it, so that's a new battery. To replace that, we had to remove the strap bar, the carpeting, and there's like a cage right behind here which had to be removed with 12 bolts. Apart from that, the car is very clean underneath in this area. Now, I had looked at the OEM brochure for the Skyline R33 GT-R. This has been an option back then, so this is very original. Now, the downside of the spoiler is there's some fading in the corners over here, but not that much. As you can see, it fades out a bit. We'll try to bring out that with polish. If not, we'll give it a new clear coat. But apart from that, the bodywork is spotless. We're underneath some 6000K LED lights, and there's no defects being shown. We do have a small defect under the front limb. This car is a bit low, so that front limb over there on that side is scraping a lot. So there's nothing we cannot do. That doesn't bug me because that's not visible. What bugs me is the stress marks it causes, as you can see over here. What we might be doing is putting this to matte black as factory spec. Might look nice. Brand new tires, can't complain about those. Another issue we had with shipping is the exhaust. Apparently there was like a chain on the floor, I guess, and since this is a low car, someone just drove it at speed and hit the center exhaust components underneath. So we had to replace that. Thankfully it didn't cost much because we were having problems with insurance. That just cost 130 euros to replace, and we had a chance to look underneath the car, which looked impeccable. As you can see, it's actually white. All the other Skylines I've been looking at had dark, protection underneath, which is good in a way because it's protecting it, but you won't know what's underneath. And this one has a white underneath. Usually they are bare metal or color coded for the car. And this one looks in great shape. There's some surface rust here and there, but it's expected because it's the undercarriage of the car. Okay, let's get into the engine bay side of things. Okay, for the engine bay, the bad points. We are missing, mysteriously, a fan shroud here, and it's much needed in our climate. Now, I suspect what happened was they changed the radiator because the radiator actually looks newish, and they just forgot to put in the fan shroud in there. Obviously, if they had done all the coolant stuff and everything and forgot to put it in, they were reluctant to remove this and put it in. Maybe it's someone's garage, who knows. So we're gonna hunt for that. We asked a friend and he gave us advice just to leave these in. Doesn't make any harm. We do need to clean them though, so that is a must. Maybe give some lick of paint to these. Now the big refurbishment stuff is going to be happening in this area, where we're going to be sort of painting these components back to black as they were, or chroming them. We still have to decide. Thankfully there's no other issues. All clips and everything are in place. There's nothing running around. Engine oil is very clean, but we're going to be replacing everything anyways. What I want to do as well is remove any clips that are rusted, obviously to protect our hoses. Hoses are in good shape and we just want to take good care of them. We'll just replace any rusted clips just for rest of mind. We need to replace that. Not doing any harm, but it looks a bit ugly. Just to give you an idea on prices, is about $180 not shipped. So prices for GT-R components are very expensive. I just do hope they come down a bit, because working on this car is not going to be cheap at all. So that's the engine bay. Major of the time will be sorting all that, making it much more nicer. We also might give it some ceramic coating to protect. So for a 26-year-old car, it is in really good condition. I would have expected much worse, meaning that the rubber components would have needed changing, or would have excessive wear in this area where the driver sits down, or some imperfections on the dashboard, or some missing components over here on the rear parcel shelf. Besides the Nissan, we also happen to have another car of around the same year. This is a 1997 model, so close to the 25-year mark, and this happened to have roughly the same mileage. This one's at around 83,000 kilometers, whereas the Skyline was 84,000. The main difference between this and the Skyline is this is used daily, so there's going to be more wear and tear because you're going in and out of the car every time. In fact, you notice around the seat over here, you got some stitching coming off. And where this seat, where I'm on the seat, it's more sort of stretched out. Obviously we got some scuff marks over there, and you can see there's some ding marks right over there from going in and out. As well, you can go on the door card. Okay, that's there, that can come off, so there's not that much there. The issue is that Subaru has different kinds of plastic material. I feel that it's more sort of inferior to the Nissan and Honda and what other cars. So the wear and tear is going to show more on this car, unfortunately. Obviously, when using a car daily, you're going to be exposed to car parks, so you're going to have ding marks on your doors. If you go around the bumpers, people grazing around your bumper. But overall, this car can be considered as not immaculate condition like the Nissan, but overall good, because obviously it needs paint, but it works completely. Engine is up to spec, and there's no missing parts or anything like that sort. You could see even mirrors, because we use it daily, it's all scratched up. When buying a 25-year-old car, everyone has their own threshold. So it's all about the person on how perceive that what is their sort of perfection. Would they sort of be okay for some minor things in the interior, missing parts, or would they okay with a complete car, just minor imperfections on the bodywork? Now, the advantages of a car like this is anyone can fix the bodywork, as all the interior parts and engine parts are in place and mechanically up to date. Whereas this one obviously doesn't need any body work, but the interior parts are missing, so they have to be imported from abroad, and that might be problematic to find. So to be honest, this car will take longer to sort of make more complete, whereas this one will take less time because I could just get it in tomorrow for the work. So those are the issues of this car. I wasn't expecting anything like brand new condition, but for 26 years old, this is amazing. And you should go into the same mentality when you're buying an old car. Don't expect everything to be perfect, even if the seller says so. Everyone has a different threshold of perfectness. Like if there's a scuff on the bumper or anything like that, for them it will pass because it's 26 years old. So if those things bother you, you just have to ask point blank or go see the car. For me, this car is perfect, over than my expectations. The bodywork is perfect. The engine bay just needs some tidying up and some replacements of the interior parts, which I'm confident I'll find. Thanks for watching. Take care.